All right, welcome back to Urban View Mornings with Shawna Renee. Pulling up a seat to our table in the very literal sense this time. She's here with us in studio. I have an educator. She's an activist. She's an entrepreneur. She's a designer. She's a farmer. That's how I came to know her. But she's also a mother. Actually, I came to know her as a mother as well. She is the founder of Upendo Estates. Karee Upendo is here with us. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yes,
Upendo Estates?
Yes, perfect.
Yes, welcome. Welcome
you.
to Urban View Mornings. I'm so glad to meet you. I was saying earlier, and the listeners know this, right? So in my bio, I have farmer in training, right? I am a farmer in training, aside from being, a talk show host and other things that I do. And when I started to take this seriously, I jump on social media like we do now, right? And I'm looking up stuff, and then the algorithm just starts feeding you things. Right. And so you started coming across my algorithm regularly. This was years ago. So this is when, your youngest, this was before you had your daughter. And like your other two, they were like foraging through the forest, and Asher was like finding little things. And I was like, oh, I love this. This is so cute. So I started to follow you and have been a fan, to be honest with you, ever since. So when I heard that you were here in the DC area, I immediately called Sam, and I was like, okay, find her and tell her I want to talk to her. So I thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy.
So let's start, first of all, because you don't live here. So what brings you to Washington,
so this is my
DC?
first time in DC, child.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay,
I've been wanting to come here since I was in 6th grade when they offered me an opportunity to come to DC. And I was being raised by my grandparents, and we ain't have it like that.
Okay.
So I've been wanting to come here since I was 11 years old. And it's my first time here. I was invited here for some conferences for Trending Up. They chose like 200 creators globally that have various different things that are dear to their heart that they speak on, whether it's sustainability, homelessness, criminal justice, everything. So just a bunch of us in one room and able to collaborate and learn how to edit and push our content in a way that our voices still can be heard and the algorithm won't ding us for it.
Oh, okay. Because I think would it be safe to say, like, you're an influencer? I don't know if you identify yourself that way. I know, okay. But for the sake of like other people who don't understand. But well, first of all, what do you consider yourself?
I consider myself a farmer and creator.
Okay.
I'm just a creative, period. I love everything arts and creative wise. I never expected to have the audience I have. I have extreme autism and ADHD. I'm very introverted. I almost damn near have agoraphobic. That's why I'm in the woods, on a farm, away from everybody.
Oh, okay.
And so this type of thing is very difficult for me. It's way out of my comfort zone. And I just never expected to have the size audience I have. My goal for myself was 500 followers. I just wanted 500 people to watch me. So having 30 million and 40 million views a month is just... it's unfathomable to me. I don't understand.
Wow. And you've been as a creator online. Like when you said, okay, I want 500, when was that?
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
That was about 5 years ago.
Oh, so it didn't take you very long to get
5 years,
to this point. So you didn't expect it.
Mm-mm.
You didn't.
And it really was a challenge to my son.
Okay.
I was trying to be cool. I was trying to fit in with him because he was in high school.
Okay.
And he thought I was like, when you're a teenager and you're like, you embarrass your parents, you don't expect it to happen to you until you get to that point. And your kids are embarrassing. You're like, what do you mean? I'm cool. Like, I'm popping. And so it was really like, I see my son on TikTok and I just wanted to engage with him and see what he was watching and have something to conversate about. I wanted to know what trends he was doing just to, be able to have a conversation in the morning with my kid. And he was like, Mom, don't know old people be on TikTok. And so I was like, well, I'm about to get on there. And so one day I went on there. I was like, let's show them some foraging. So my little son that you see, Asher, Asher's crazy. He's wild. He's free. And he's been foraging since before he could walk. And so I did a couple of videos and people were watching. I'm like, people are actually interested in my little expenditure. So I just continued to do it. And it continued to grow.
Right, it grew. Yeah. And the nerve of your son talking about old people, because you're not old.
No, child. He as a teenager, he was like, the reason why even Doodoo Diva even came about was from my son. It was really Dookie Dealer. And it was because my son was getting off the bus. We're from Wisconsin. And so you know, he didn't know nobody here and nobody knew what we did. So he was like, he got off the bus and they were like, why does your name on that sign? Let's say, you know, what you got a mansion? What's going on? Who are you? And he was like, no, I'm a farmer. And he was like, oh, what do y'all farm? And he told them, oh, my mom's a dookie dealer.
Okay.
So when he told me that, I'm like, Alex, you really told them that? So I'm like, okay. So I used it. I'm like, you know, I started using dookie dealer, and that's what really started having my videos traction, that little silly
yeah, absolutely. Okay, but see, here's what we're going to have to do. Yeah. Okay, we have to explain, because for the people who may not be as familiar with you as I am, just heard that and are like, wait a minute, did she just say dookie dealer? Yeah. So explain to the good people what that means.
So basically, I started farming about 5 years ago, and I'm an impatient farmer. I was like, what do you mean it takes 90 days? What do you mean it takes 120 days to grow this little produce? I'm like, I need to farm quickly. I love to do everything fast. I talk fast. I do everything fast. And so I started researching like how I can make plants grow quicker, and it was like fertilizer, you know. So I started being really interested in fertilizer and how it worked, and then I started studying manures. And I was like, okay, well, amongst all the animals, alpacas have the best manure, like against any animals. I was like, let me buy some alpaca manure. So I started buying manure. I started studying it. I started using it, and my plants started blowing up. So I'm like, well, I need some alpacas. I can't keep buying this poop now. And so I started selling manure after I bought some alpacas and turned my farm to an alpaca farm. And so my son was telling people like my mom basically the dookie slinger. She's a doodoo, you know, dookie dealer. And which was true, is like, why you couldn't give me a cuter name? So I made it cuter by Doodoo Diva, but that's how it came about.
Yeah, and I wanted to say, because you are my kind of woman, right? Because that just sounds so much like something I would do. It'd be like, well, you know, why don't I just get some alpacas?
Yeah.
And so now, like when I talk to my husband, I'm like, okay, so here's what we're gonna get. We're gonna get some chickens. Right. We're gonna get some alpacas. He's like, turn the phone off. Like, this girl is such a terrible.
I love it so much.
No, but okay, let's go back a little bit though, because you say you've only been farming for a few years, but you are definitely a creator, because you were a designer, like a clothing designer.
I worked as an educator for 6th and 7th grade.
Okay.
And then I was also a designer for 15 years. I had my own clothing line, Karee Couture. And so that name came about because everybody always used to be too dressed up, doing the most, you know. Our people like, oh, you're doing too much. And so they would always say like, oh, is Miss Couture coming? Is Karee Couture coming? And so I turned that into my label. And I would make designer dresses and birthday outfits, suits, and everything. I did that for 15 years. My grandmother taught me how to sew when I was 7. I got taken out of the home at 7. She was a seamstress. She went paralyzed on her left side. So she really only taught me to sew so I could be her right hand, because she was still making them Vogue patterns for church. So I, about 8, 9, started designing my own clothes. And by the time I was 16, I had my label. Wow. And so I did that for about 15 years. I retired in 2018. And then I went back into education. And I started building out this school, and I was going to build a school in Milwaukee. Milwaukee was giving me like $1.2 million for a grant to build this school out. I was super excited. COVID happened. The building went under literal water, and there was like $689,000 in damage, and they pulled the grant back and was like, oh, we can't move forward with this. And I was broken. I had just lost my daughter. I had lost my last 5 years of getting this school ready. I was broken. I was so lost. I was like, my grandmother always told me if I get into a career that's needed, I got into cars, I got into schooling, because I'm like, education, people always use a car, get into plumbing. And now I don't have work. I don't know what to do. I've been working since I was 7. My grandmother was disabled, so I went right into caretaker mode from being removed to the home. From there, my grandfather, he was a janitor, so we would get up. I would go help him bust 120 cubicles at the DNR building and the library before I even went to school. And so I am the janitor's granddaughter. You know, my great-grandfather was a sharecropper, and my grandmother, who's still alive today, was a sharecropper. And so I have a lot of entrepreneurship and a lot of Black, strong people in my life that really helped me to be able to see that nothing on this planet is off limits to me. So even in my darkest times, I was like, I know this isn't it for me. I have to get back to something. And the only thing I could think about at that time was like my grandmother would talk about the South and how beautiful the summers were and how they used to eat the clay dirt and how they was playing outside with the chickens. And I'm like, I want that, but I don't even know what that looks like. But I'm going to try, because I'm going to die here. I'm not going to make it here. So it's better for me to try that versus die here in this place because I was broken.
And so you just picked up everything because at this time you had children. Yeah.
So with my autism, I have special interests, and so I have special interests in like agriculture. So I was like consuming everything agricultural, from YouTube videos to books to meeting people that was farming. I'm from the Dairyland, so it's farms all around us, but they don't look like me. I ain't never seen a black farmer. Even living in the Dairyland of Wisconsin, I have never seen a black farmer. And so I'm like, do we even do this? And so I started studying, and I was like picking up on it quickly. And I'm like, all I need to do is get me a piece of property, and I'm gonna make it do what it do. And that's what I did.
I mean, that's brave, though. I mean, it's incredibly brave. I mean, I know you keep saying your autism, but there's a lot of courage that comes along with that, because, a lot of people won't even move across town. So to move from Milwaukee, and you're in Georgia currently. Now, you said that your family was in this. Were they in Georgia, or because Milwaukee, I would say like Alabama, Mississippi, were they part of that migration?
Yeah, so my grandparents are from Pontotoc, Mississippi. And they were from that part of the South, but we got some family all throughout the South, but they went to Racine, Wisconsin is really where my family is at. Okay.
Now, you mentioned your work as an educator, and that is a big part of what you're doing now, right? Aside from just educating us regular folks
I consider
on
myself
social
like
media.
an edutainer.
Edutainer. Okay. But you do work in the schools down there, right? Okay. Talk a little bit about sort of what that program is like.
Yeah, so I do a lot of volunteer work as a lead gardener to help schools build gardens and to have like self-sustainability systems. I built the only seed library in Lovejoy Library where anybody who with a library card for free can have access to free gardens. You can get 2 different types of seeds with hundreds of varieties, from pollinator flowers to different fruits that you've never heard of, for free. And so when I first moved here, I was looking for seeds for my farm and I couldn't find any. And when I got sick and they told me I had 9 months to live, I was spending all my money to stay alive, and I still wanted to build my farm out. And I'm like, I don't have the money for all these seeds that we want to grow for this farm. And I was looking for seed banks, wasn't none in my area. So I'm like, look, we're going to start saving seeds. So I got on the phone. I started telling my friends, like, just save your seeds. If you go to Dollar Tree, just buy all the seeds, send them to me. So within like a month, I had over 1 million seeds. Oh, wow. And so I went to the library and I said, hey, what do you think about partnering with me to create a seed library system for everybody in this county to be able to grow food, have, access, because that's one thing we need is access. I teach all day long growing food. It doesn't matter if people don't have access to the tools that we need. And so that program is still running today. And now I just added about 4 months ago the microgreen seed library. So now you can grow food in 3 days.
Nice. Wow, that's such an amazing idea, because I remember, especially during the pandemic, there was a lot of talk about, you got to collect seeds, got to hold on to the seeds. And I was just having a conversation with someone yesterday just about the fact that you can't come across these because there are no seeds in the food anymore, right? They're like no seeds in the fruit. Right. Everything is seedless. So like you can't even just, like you literally have to buy them. Like to me, like growing up in the time that I did, that's insane.
They cutting the heads off of stuff so you can't regrow it at home. Right. Even ginger. I seen them cutting nodes off the ginger. I ain't never seen that before.
Really?
Yes.
So you can't plant them and then they can sprout.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird behavior.
And so that brings me to my next point that I really want to talk to you about. So I love the educational piece or the edutainment piece. But I said, the third thing I said was that you're an activist. And you are very much an activist, whether or not that was your intention. Yeah. But I've noticed that you do speak to the people about issues that concern, obviously, agriculture, but also just concern like Black folks. Yeah. Like, and so I'm curious, was that just a natural progression for you, or did you like sit one day and say, okay, I have to be very intentional about this because what's going on here is not it?
Yeah, no. So I think I've always been like this. I've always been very outspoken, and always got in trouble for it too.
Okay.
But my grandmother, she was the head of the Urban League, so she had that dog in her when it came to us. And so I just have always been that person. When I see something that's broken, I don't look around the room to see who can help. If I have it in me to help, I try to figure it out, and then I go get the people. So being an activist is just, I think, is just part of the fiber of who I am. I love to speak on things that are connected to my life, like homelessness, teen pregnancy, criminal justice, having a felony as a juvenile because I was poor, black and broke, being taken out of the home at 7, childhood sexual assault, and, you know, self-sustainability, learning how to not rely on systems that our people are used to, showing them, yeah, you can grow food. You got a window. You don't need land. You got a bucket. I can show you how to get this work. You know, I can show you how to grow 80 pounds of potatoes in an Aldi bag. What's up? I'm showing my people it's no excuses, that ordinary people can do extraordinary things. And that's just all I want to show. Like, you don't have to wait for that special occasion to wear that dress. It doesn't matter if you're doing too much, because tomorrow is not promised to you. I got told by a doctor I had 8 months, and I said, yeah, okay, we see. My God got the last word for me, you know? And so I hope that I'm showing people that nothing on this planet is off limits to you. Ordinary people can do amazing, extraordinary things. It just takes effort and trying. Just try. Yeah. You know, don't doubt yourself. If you have that big dream, go for it. Tomorrow is not promised to anybody, and this is the only time we have on this planet. This is our only opportunity. Yeah. After this, we don't know what's next. You know, I hope that I'm up there with the Lord. I pray. I hope I don't know, but I know what I'm doing here now, and what I'm doing here now is just trying to be free and teach people that not to limit yourself. You know, if you're different, if you're weird, I've always been the weird black girl. Lean into your passions, and just. That's where I found happiness, leaning into my passions. I love being creative. I was in journalism school as an adolescent. I went to the People program. And so talking about issues has always been important to me. But it's easier for me to talk about issues that I've experienced. It's easier for me to connect with somebody who is a single mother or going through homelessness when I've been there, when I've been hungry, when I didn't have nothing in me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just really passionate because I feel like, oh, I've been there before, so let me try to take you up out of there, because I know what it feels like to be in that situation and not want to be here no more. And so I just hope that that's what I'm conveying when I come across, you know, silliness, playfulness, the fashions, but at the core, I'm literally just a mom. I'm just a mom that tries every day to deal with chronic depression and anxiety and try to make it to the next day. And that's my truth.
And it comes across as very authentic. And I think that's probably why in that short amount of time you were able to amass the followers and the views that you have. Because, you know, let me tell you something, having been around and in this business for a long time, like, people can sense when you're on some bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, they can sense it right away. And then they also sense that when you're authentic, when you're like, look, I'm going to be honest and truthful with you. That's not to say that you have to tell all the things and everything, but be honest. But to that point, though, you are very forthcoming with a lot in your life, in your personal life. But I want to start with your children, because, you know, I think it takes a certain amount of courage to be able to do that, because we tend to be very protective of our children. But I love the fact that you share them with us, and that we are watching them grow and explore and see and change and shift. But I'm wondering about that decision.
Yeah. So a lot of people don't know this about me, but I ran a national brand with my son, my oldest child, who's an adult now, Alex. Okay. He had a company called Build-A-Bow. So he got diagnosed with autism like around age 6. And we had a really hard time connecting. Alex was very studious. I'm like the playful parent. I play too much. He was very like always serious. I'm just like, why I can't connect with my child? Like, he didn't want no sports child. I tried to put him in everything. And he would always migrate to the adults at the park. He'd always be just not fitting in and excluded. I'm just like, why don't nobody, you know, what's going on? So I really just sat with him and learned that he likes art. He's a great artist. He speaks through art. And so he started making bow ties. I was doing my fashion label. And so him naturally always, me being a single parent, he's always in the studio with me. So he learned to sew, but he was sewing bow ties, child. And so he started making like different type of bow ties that I've never seen before, like monarch butterfly bow ties that look like they're flying off your neck. He made Rubik's Cube bow ties, just like things that I'd never seen before. And I'm like, you know, this is really cool. And he was like, can I post it online? He had posted it. And he was like 10 years old. And then like it went viral. We've been on every television show you can imagine, from Steve Harvey to Harry Connick Jr. Got offered deal from Shark Tank. It was a wild ride.
Hold on, wait a minute.
It was
You know how she just goes through that. So it was like Steve Harvey, Harry Connick Jr. They gave me millions on Shark Tank. So like he was doing it.
Yeah, he's doing it. He was his company is called Buildable.
Okay.
And so he was doing it, and doing it to the point where it was overwhelming. Okay. From every network show you can imagine was trying to get us to do a show. We did pilot. I did a show with Sierra, and Gary Vaynerchuk offered us a percentage for his business. Like it was big, and it just was overwhelming throughout that 10 years because then I lost my daughter, and then my son started hitting high school, and he started getting anxiety to the point he's like, I can't do stages anymore. I can't talk. And he had done hundreds of speaking engagements by the time he was 14. He's spoken on stages in front of thousands. He won an Emmy by the time he was 11. He had a full ride scholarship at age 12 for the entirety of his life. Alex was in college with me. Alex was in business school when I was in business school, taking the same courses I was taking at the age he was. So it just it's like our life just like hit a wall, hit a brick wall, and so we had to. I had to switch gears. And so when I switched gears, he always loved animals. And so he was like, I'm going to be a veterinarian. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to train you. You're going to be the farm vet first then. Right. And so he was like, I can't do high school anymore. I'm having panic attacks in the bathroom. I got to do homeschooling. And so I was like, okay, well, we switched to homeschool. I ain't never homeschooled before, but we can figure it out together.
But you were an educator, so it would have been,
So, but I was like, let's try it. Okay. And so we created a curriculum that was geared around his interests and his talents and where he wanted to go with his life. And that's when I really stepped back and I was like, I don't like the education system. It's not working. My child is flourishing, and in school he didn't look this brilliant on paper, but I can see it when he's doing the things that he's actually interested in. And I was just like, whoa, I don't ever want to go back to the school system. And so that's when I was just like, how can I educate and still be the educator, because that's at my core, but still be me. And I'm like, a classroom is anywhere. A classroom is his kitchen. Okay, we cooking a meal today. A classroom is outside in my paddock by the farm animals. So I've now come to the thought a classroom can be anywhere.
Sure. Now, if ever there was a point, I imagine, I'm just asking, I think I already know the answer, but if there was ever a point where they were like, Ma, I've had enough, put the phone down, I'm not interested, I assume that would be at least the end of it.
Well, if you see, you don't ever really see Alex. I always show his body. He doesn't like to be recorded.
Okay.
My son, Avon, the only thing he likes to do is cooking. He doesn't do farm chores. He don't like no bugs. He don't like no heat. He don't like being outside. I don't force my children to do things they don't want to do. If they tell me, Mom, I'm good, that's just what it is. But I don't consider myself a family creator because I got on the screen with just me. You see my children, but if I decide to pull them out, my content will still survive. You understand? I don't feel like, if they don't want to, cool. If you do, cool. But either way, it's just like, I just want to highlight their interest in what they're interested in versus them do stuff they don't want to do. So my daughter loves fashion. She's a girly girl to her core.
So cute too. I love to watch you all walk that runway to the chickens.
So she loves the chickens and she loves collecting eggs. She's the egg collector. So her naturally people don't even realize that my content is not it's not curated. It's just we do the content and then I do the voiceovers after. So it's whatever we're naturally doing outside. I do the voiceovers after I edit in my editing app. So it's like you guys might think that she's doing this, but she might have just been sitting there. You know what I mean? So it's like the creativity and the stories come after the clips. I just like to catch my children naturally doing things that they love to do. So Asher, he loves foraging. That's what he loves. That's his favorite. So I'm like, okay, well, you can do foraging content. You don't really see Asher collecting eggs or doing the stuff Celia does. I just try to capture my children in their essence of what they like to do, so that it doesn't feel like it's some forced weird type of situation. But yeah, my oldest son, he don't want to be on TV. He don't want to be not doing nothing. My middle child, I don't want to go outside, Mom. I hate bugs. I hate farming. I just want to cook. Okay, cool. Put you in the kitchen.
That's how you're supposed to raise children, right? Because no one knows your children better than you do. And so for you to be responsive, right, to what their strengths are, and then also acknowledge their autonomy. Because I think with parents sometimes, especially, I hate to say it, but especially with Black parents, sometimes we don't always respect young people's autonomy because, Yeah.
But
So
I get hell for that because of the way I parent. The elders don't like it. They think my kids are wild thornberries. I don't spank my children. I don't believe in spankings. I grew up with my grandparents from the South, so we was going to get a switch. You getting whoopings.
Right.
They don't, very by the Bible. They think, don't spoil the rod, spare the child. They stand by that. And so they see my kids having the authority to have an opinion about something that I say that's opposite of them. They think it's disrespect. Why you letting him talk? Why you letting him speak out of turn? Because I'm allowing him to have an opinion. I hate when people look at children like they're not human. Imagine somebody telling you to sit down and be quiet all day. I don't like when people try to make kids not be kids. Kids gonna run around and play. Right. That's what they do. They have energy. I don't parent in the way that I was raised. I really like my kids to be kids. I don't like taking anything away from them that might ruin their childlike spirit, because they only get one childhood.
Right.
It's only for 18 years, and then it's right back to this. So,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Whatever I can do to make that first 18 good, I'm with it.
Yeah.
Because after that 18,
right, it gets real.
It gets real.
It gets real.
Yeah.
So when you say the elders, are you talking about people within your community? Okay, so the folks that know
my family.
Okay, because I know people have opinions, online a lot of the times, and it seems to me that you seem to be good at least from the outside looking in, of kind of ignoring the criticism, because I imagine, especially with someone that is as popular online as you are at this point, that you hear a lot.
I was raised by an Aries who had autism, and that's enough for that.
All right. So that skin is thick, is what you're saying.
Very. It's nothing I ain't heard about myself.
Okay.
They're not saying nothing new under the sun.
Okay.
But it does get heavy because I'm a human. I go through things, so it's difficult when I have a schedule of where I like to engage with my community, because that's why I started this, because I wanted a community. I felt isolated. I was the weird black girl that didn't have many friends, didn't know how to speak to people, go and try to talk to a human in person, and I'm stuttering. I'm getting musty. I'm sweating. It's just a mess. And I just wanted to have people I could talk to, but not have to be around.
Yeah,
and so eliminating myself from that community, I don't want that anyway. So engagement is important to me. So I do always go through comments. Which is hard because a lot of creators that have 30, 40 million views a month, they don't do comments because it can break your spirit. But at the same token, as much hate as you have triple the love.
Yeah.
And so I don't never want to dim the light on the people who love and adore me and are getting inspired by what I do versus the people who are saying negative things about me. I get talked about for the way that I speak, the way that I look. My kids get talked about. I get bullied for everything you can imagine. But at the end of the day, that one email that said I woke up today because you told me I could. I didn't want to be here yesterday, but you showed me differently. Oh, I'm growing this in my garden. My family ate my first fresh apple because of you. That makes me keep going.
And that's the other reason too why I wanted you here and why I wanted to spend the time with you, because we have a lot of folks who listen who maybe aren't into social media. They're a bit resistant. Maybe it's a generational thing because it wasn't something that they grew up with, and they don't recognize though how influential social media is. Sometimes it can be negative, but sometimes it can be positive. Right. I mean, there are people whose lives are changed by the folks that they encounter on social media. I mean, as I say, I watch you. There are a few other Black women farmers that I watch and I'm introduced to. And so every time I see you, it gives me, at my big age, the courage to say, okay, it's possible. Right. It's absolutely possible because I've seen it,
right.
So I'm so glad that you're here. And listen, honey, we could do this for another hour, but we don't have it. So, and I didn't even really get into the entrepreneurial stuff. So here's what I want you to do. Just kind of give us an idea of where we can find you, some of the things that you offer, because again, you're running like a whole, functioning, like your kids get to play. Yeah. But this is also a business, right? Yeah.
So, I'm on all platforms from YouTube to Threads, Instagram, Facebook. And TikTok under the same name, Upendo Estates Farm, on all handles. And I'm the first Black woman to have created a solar charge alpaca fertilizer product. So if you need some help with your plants, whether they're indoor or outdoor, I got you. I just created the magic bean dust. Like I said, it's been in production for 5 years, and we finally have everything. We've got the funding, and we're going to commercial production right now. And so If you want to get the magic bean dust, you can definitely just hit the website, wapendoestates.com. Other than that, like I said, Wapendo Estates Farm on all socials.
Absolutely. You got some doodoo in your purse?
No, they don't let us bring fertilizer through that TSA, but I brought some eggs though.
Okay. I'm like, wait a minute, because that's actually what I want. Because I'm over here trying to grow things, and I'm like you, I'm impatient. I'm like, where's the strawberries? Where's the stuff? Where's the stuff? So, Karee, this has been such a pleasure. Thank you so much for being here with us. I really appreciate it, and best of luck. And if you get an opportunity, see some of the city. You know what I mean? Go to I
need somewhere where the food is.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, we'll talk. Okay. When we get out there, I'll tell you. I'll tell you where to go. Okay. Should I send her the Ben's chili bowl, y'all? I don't know. Daryl says thumbs up. Okay. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. We'll be back. You're listening to Urban View Mornings with Shawna Renee.